Let's go.
Welcome to Citizen. Very special guest today, Andy Frisella. We've had you on Drink Your Bros before. Now I've done your show, so I guess it's all like a big orgy.
Yeah, podcast orgy.
Yeah.
The best kind.
Everybody's
well,
got
the second best kind.
Well, yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah. So you're actually one of the dudes, one of the many people that kind of inspired me to take this on, because it's you, Tim Kennedy, and this journalist, Batya Ungar-Sargon, who's very smart. She's the deputy editor of Newsweek, deputy opinion editor for Newsweek. So we were talking one day, and she was like, you know, the way that you talk about things, you, from a position of authority, challenge people to be better, and there's not a whole lot of that going on. There's a lot of like patting people on the back and stuff. But you and I discussed this last night, the stick and carrot thing. The reason that the stick works better than the carrot, especially when you're trying to motivate yourself, is because you become addicted to the dopamine hit from the carrot. You know what I mean? Not necessarily. You don't get as much out of the process, I don't think, when you focus on the reward. You know what I mean? That's what leads to addiction, actually.
Yeah.
If you think about it. So, you know, and then I saw what you were doing over here. I think your element is more leaning into the culture war. That's not really what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
But it is like the motivation and the style are the same. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, look, nobody's coming to fucking save you. You got to do this yourself, and then we have to do this ourselves, or it ain't getting done. Period. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, for those who I don't know if anybody's listening to this who hasn't heard of you already, but give me an elevator pitch on your bio, and then jump into like some stuff that you see going on that's wrong right now that's fixable. You know what I mean?
I'm just a regular dude, man. I'm an entrepreneur. I think, you know, I do a lot of different things. I think I'm most well known for First Form. Okay, we started in this nutrition industry in 1999. It's been 23 years. You know, we started with 12 grand, and first day was $7 in sales, and then, you know, and here we are 23 years later with something very significant. But I also host a podcast called Real AF. I hosted a podcast before that called the MFCEO Project, which is one of the most popular, if not the most popular, entrepreneurial podcasts of all time. And I switched in 2019 to bring awareness to what's going on socially and politically and culturally, because without us correcting the environment that we're living in currently in this country, you know, guys like me who started out with literally nothing are not going to be able to build something significant, such as, you know, a big company that employs literally thousands of people. So, you know, it's kind of one of those things where I just kind of saw the problem, and I was like, hey, dude, well, if we don't have this, we can't have that. You know what I mean? Right. And that's where it came from with Real AF. And I got kind of sucked into the whole scene immediately when COVID happened. Yeah. Because I was very outspoken from the beginning.
Yeah. Well, it was weird because like the main criticism about people who are skeptical was like, well, you're not a doctor or a scientist. Like, okay, cool, but I have basic common sense.
Yeah. And critical thinking skills.
I went to school. I know the basics of science, and I know what you're telling me is incongruent with everything I've learned. So if it's changed, let me know.
Yeah.
But that's not what happened. It's like you get abused into belief.
Yeah.
Basically.
You get shamed and abused and pressured.
Right.
And, you know, I started really examining what was going on. And, you know, you and I talked about this last night at my house. You know, we are of the age that we grew up without the internet.
Right.
You know, when we were 20 years old, the internet.
When we were kids, we spent most of our time outside because that's all there was to do.
Yeah, there was no. People don't like these kids have no concept of that. Like,
Yeah.
there's no phone, there's no internet, there's no social media.
You might have like a video game system, like a Nintendo or something, but if you get caught playing inside during the day, mom's coming over there to whip your ass. Right?
Yeah,
it's like, come on now, get out of here.
Dude, we got caught all the time playing during the day because we get fights over it.
Oh, yeah.
Me and Sal.
Yeah, that's how it happens.
Yeah. But, you know, she hears screaming from the other room and be like, you guys should be playing the game. But, you know, dude, it takes a perspective, I think, a certain level of experience to understand how they're able to formulate these lies. And, you know, it seems to be that all the people that catch it are all roughly about the same age.
Yeah.
It seems like they're between, you know, 35 and 45. Because the people older than 45, for example, they've kind of tuned out of the internet and just kind of lost contact. And the people younger can't remember what it was like before the internet, so they just take it for what it is.
Right.
And I think that, you know, the age range that we are both in and the experiences of being in business in terms of having to critically think your way through real problems just allowed me to see it very clearly from the get-go. You know, we went through multiple pandemics, bro, growing up. We never shut the country down.
Yeah.
You know, people don't understand, you know, back H1N1, what was that, 2008-ish or 10-ish?
Somewhere around there,
yeah. We didn't close all the businesses.
No, and the military tried to force everybody to get swine flu vaccines too, and I was like, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And they were like, you have to. I'm like, no, I don't.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, you do. I'm like, nope. And they're like, oh, okay. Yeah, and I just left.
Yeah, well, dude, now we just covered it on my show yesterday. Now they came out and said, hey, by the way, you know, everything's cool now. You could treat unvaccinated people the same as vaccinated. You know, and all these things.
Is that by the way, is that supposed to be like a subtle public apology or?
Dude, I think so.
Like,
I think
because that ain't cutting it, dude.
No, it fucking ain't.
You got to give everybody their job. You got to restore the 700,000 American businesses that closed forever.
Yeah,
because of your bullshit.
And instead of sending billions of dollars to Ukraine, maybe we should be spending that money here on that.
Yeah,
you know. But this situation that we've it's social division, intentional, and now we have this situation where we have literally millions of people who have fucking had their lives ruined, and these people are like, oh, you know what? All that stuff we said about the pandemic of the unvaccinated, just forget about that. Yeah. Don't worry about it, man. We're still good. No, motherfucker, we ain't still good.
That's the same thing. I had Alex Epstein on the show not too long ago. He's one of Thiel's guys, and he's the guy that wrote Fossil Future. I don't know if you've seen that. You need to have him on the show and talk about it. But he's a fossil fuel advocate.
Which everybody should be.
Yeah, of course, because that's fucking just the reason.
Because that's called science.
Yeah.
You want to talk about, dude, I was thinking about this shit this morning. People have to, you guys have to really think about anything they tell you from here on out.
Why would you just believe stuff people tell you? Well, that's where I was going. That we had Alex Epstein on, and he talks about how there's the climate community specifically has been pushing this same for the last 50 years.
Yeah.
There's actually a document called 50 Years of Failed Climate Predictions.
Yeah.
For 50 years, they've pushed a couple of catastrophizing phrases that, like, the whole world's going to end by 2000 if we don't do this. Or we're going to have receding coastline by 2000 if we don't do this. None of it came true. And they're like,
didn't raise 1 inch.
And what they say is, we were right, we just had the timeline wrong. Like, no, that's being wrong. That's what that's called.
That's right.
You stupid fuck. So, you know, especially now, but probably always, and I think this is a good lesson for people just to learn, is to question authority. Now, when you tell people that, they think you're trying to tell them to be a rabble-rouser or be disrespectful or whatever. That's not what that is. And if somebody is an authority figure and they're telling you something and you are skeptical of what they're saying and they get upset about it, that person is lying to you.
Yeah.
Because somebody that knows it's the truth will fucking explain to you why it's the truth. They won't say, shut up, stop saying what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's how that works.
Which is what they did. Dude, bro, remember this. We've never had open censorship in this country since I've been alive, since you've been alive. And dude, if you remember, that shit started right whenever that Hunter Biden laptop came out right before the election, where they started putting tags on everything. Do you remember? Do you remember when they made it on Instagram so you couldn't see the hashtags?
Yeah. For that New York Post
Yes.
article, yeah.
Dude, and now it's just
Well,
they adopted that as normal business practice.
Twitter and I believe it was Twitter just announced their intent to have election information security. Well, election information security. What the fuck does that mean?
It means we're going to tell you what it is, and if you question it, you're a domestic terrorist.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I mean, dude, they did this in. Did you see that? What's her name? Jacinda Ardern from New Zealand. She came out and did a press conference and basically said, everything we say is the truth, and everything anybody else says is not the truth.
Is that like saying I am the science?
Yes.
Like, come on, man.
Dude, and my opinion on this whole thing of like them retracting the CDC guidance and everything is they realize it's not going to fly the way they thought it was.
Yeah.
They got to regroup. And the important thing for us to remember and people to remember is they're not quitting. They're not going away.
No.
This is a regroup.
So, I mean, look, it doesn't do you or your community any favors to just tune out of everything because you need to know what's going on, but you should read everything with a skeptical mind and definitely be prepare yourself with the evidence. That's the best thing you do. Let's talk a little bit about being prepared, because I think the biggest issue we really face in this country right now is a lack of leadership. It's like any other thing, like getting into real estate or starting a diet or a workout plan or something like that. People don't know where to start, and it's intimidating. There's a lot of choices. They get paralysis by analysis and blah, blah, blah. That's where leaders come in. Like, hey, here's what I did. Here's what worked and what didn't work. You bare your soul to these fucking people and like, all right, cool. Now follow me. The infantry badge in the Army says follow me at the bottom. You know what I mean? That's the whole fucking point. People think that that leadership is just like giving orders and punishing the disobedient or rewarding the obedient. But that doesn't even get close to what real leadership is. Leadership is just like diet is the food that you eat every day, not something you do for 2 or 3 weeks and then stop. You know what I mean? It's a fucking lifestyle, and so is leadership. Every opportunity you get to guide somebody else is a very important opportunity for you, because we've all needed it at some point. And, what really matters is that each and every person hold themselves and those around them to an honorable standard, a principle-based standard, right? Yeah. That's what really matters.
Dude, I think that's what we're missing right now. When I've taken, my time, the last 2.5 years, dude, I haven't really done anything else. Like, I've really poured myself into this. I'm fortunate that all my companies are in a place where, my teams are good and they run things. So I've been able to really dig into what I think the problem is here. And, when I grew up, bro, we were taught, and I know that you were taught this too, but our lives are supposed to honor the people that came before us in this country and how we live and what we do, and then also inspire the people coming behind us. And that was American cultural norm for me growing up.
Well, that has to be a societal norm in any successful culture. It's a seed becoming a plant, producing fruit, producing seeds, producing plants, so on and so forth. Dude. It has to work like that.
But they've stopped it through culture. And when I was about 20 years old, I'm 43 now, they removed the Pledge of Allegiance from school. And then they started giving out trophies for showing up. And they started villainizing winning. And they started making it okay to do anything you wanted. Oh, it's just, hey, that's just how I choose to live. The problem with that is that there's all kinds of people of all different races, of all different backgrounds, of all different cultures who have literally fucking died trying to create an opportunity for you to have the opportunity to do something. Yeah. And when you don't exercise that opportunity by holding high standards, by taking care of your health, by taking care of your career, by taking care of your family, by taking care of your community, and holding a high standard there, the whole concept of America doesn't work. And so what we have, and from my observation, is an intentional demoralization of our culture through communist ideology that's been around for, ever. And we're in a place now where, guys like us and people who believe in America, we kind of got caught with our pants down a little bit.
Yeah.
We were like, for me, I've spent the last 23 years building businesses. I was guilty of being the guy who went to vote and voted just down the card and didn't really understand what was going on. And so, I think it's important for people to hear that, because I do talk about these things so much, but people feel like they can't talk about it or because they don't know very much, right? Dude, I didn't know that much either, man.
Yeah.
Like, until the last couple of years when I really started, like, when they shut down the country, dude, that's when the red flag went up for me. I'm like, no, this is wrong. We don't do this here. I have Arte Syndicate at Milet. We coach literally thousands of entrepreneurs. And dude, I'm getting blown up on the phone from all these people from all over the country and all over the world who are losing their shit. And I'm like, holy fuck, dude. Like, that was a very stressful time for me.
Yeah.
So it forced me to like confront what was going on. And when I looked
as a community, we weren't ready for it.
Huh?
As a community, we weren't ready for it because there should have been thousands of us all at the same time telling everybody to say no to this shit. Now, a lot of people, I was too. You were, but like there wasn't enough people.
And bro, I got abused.
Yeah.
Listen, bro, I got abused. I don't fucking care. Okay, like you guys, like how it is. Like to build a company, it doesn't matter. You guys have done Black Rifle Coffee. You've done all kinds of stuff. You're doing Hard AF now. You've built podcasts. Like, bro, there's going to be people who don't fucking like you. That's the reality. I don't care. But, like, I'm just noted, like, for the sake of conversation, like, these motherfuckers hated me, dude. And they're calling up our company, and this is a first. And then as it progressed and I stood my ground, it became support. And our company actually grew because of it. So it's all good. But my point is like, some of you motherfuckers were mean as fuck to people. And, like, maybe you should remember and think about that these people who were speaking up that you hate were speaking up for your benefit.
Yeah.
And now we're dealing with a situation where all these people were forced to get this medicine, that fuck quote unquote medicine. Fuck, look how conditioned I am, bro. I won't even say fucking vaccine on the show.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they force these people to take this shit, and now we got people fucking sick. We got myocarditis. We got people falling over, young people dying. They created a new fucking sudden adult death syndrome. Dude, we were trying to prevent all of this.
Yeah.
And,
it's, I mentioned it on your show yesterday, but it's actually a Ronald Reagan quote. Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction.
Yeah.
And then he says, we didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same, or one day we will spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it was once like in the United States where men were free. Now,
dude, how do you explain freedom to someone who's never experienced it?
Yeah, I mean, it's rough. Like, it's like somebody that's institutionalized in prison or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's an uncomfortable thing. It means you have to take responsibility for shit. It's no longer a regimented day. You have to make that regimen yourself. And some people can't handle it.
Let me ask you this, dude. Do you think we've ever been real free here?
In America?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In our life?
In our lifetime, no.
I don't think so either.
But in the early days, probably until the middle of the 19th century, something like that.
Yeah.
When, political factions at the beginning caused a little turmoil. James Madison was super against it. Thomas Jefferson and Adams didn't speak to each other for years, even though they were best friends because of that shit. Alexander Hamilton is one of the biggest pieces of shit in American history for trying to federalize everything and doing a bunch of nasty shit behind the scenes, like trying to turn the fucking army against George Washington and vice versa. There's been this tumult a lot, but what kept us okay was the fact that it was decentralized. We did have a federal government back then, but it was so small and there were so many pioneer areas that were governed only by maybe a governor and a couple of sheriffs in the entire state, that people were able to do pretty much what they wanted to do. What we realized was that we need a little bit more than that. We need to build roads. We need to do this. We need national defense. All right, cool. but it really got away from us. You know what I mean? And that's the trade-off. That, to me, people talk about the social contract in this term, that we abide by certain rules, we pay some taxes, and we get X, Y, and Z in return. But the way you should think of it is that how much is X, Y, and Z really costing me? Not just in monetary terms, but in my ability to move freely throughout the country. You know what I mean? That as is my fucking right.
Yeah.
So I think that's people. It's the same with the tax argument. We're always talking. Like, if you see a tax debate in Congress or Senate, they're debating who to tax, but not where to, or like if they should even be taxing anybody in the first place.
It's not even a discussion.
Yeah.
Like, dude, look, man, you know, in business,
like, why do you think you're entitled to my fucking money?
You're not. That's the point. And that's what my point in the question was. You know, they have kept the banner up of freedom and started to work in all these other ideologies that are not about freedom.
And now they're fucking any kind of symbol of actual liberty is being cast as some kind of like domestic terrorists.
Yeah, what was it? The
Betsy Ross flag,
yeah.
the Gonzalez come and take it flag. Are you fucking kidding me? These are literal symbols
Flags
of the revolution.
Here. Yes. From 1776, bro.
That should tell you a lot that the three main flags of the revolution, the Betsy Ross flag, the Gonzalez flag, and the Don't Tread on Me flag, are all now, they're trying to criminalize these things.
Dude, there's how many states with the Don't Tread on Me license plate?
Quite a few.
Yeah, like, dude, listen, these people are insane. They are reeling. This, to me, what I see here is a boxing match that's in like the 6th round. And they just got their fucking clock clean, and they're on their heels, and they don't know if they're going to make it through. And so they're sitting in their corner, and they're figuring out how to regroup. And that's how I'm reading the situation. But I mean, dude, at the end of the day, you know, it gets back to this obligation that we're talking about. You know, you as an individual, we as individuals must hold and live the standard at which we believe America should be at. Yeah. In our own lives. You know, that's the thing people are missing. Like you said, we lack leadership, but I actually believe that we lack an understanding of where the leadership is supposed to come from. And
right. Yeah.
So, you know, like we have to lead ourselves before anybody's going to, you know, come through and organize that. And right now we have a culture of people who, you know, sit at home, have everything at their fingertips. They're losing the skills of true, like, going out and achievement.
There's no appetite for patience or discomfort anymore. And those are literally the two most important things in the world.
Well, it makes people that have the understanding of what it takes to win at a huge advantage.
Well, yeah, I mean, if shit were to go down today, I would not feel bad about it. Well, I mean, I would feel like it would be sad, but I'm not afraid.
What would you be afraid of, bro? 140-pound fucking vegan dudes running around with fucking trash can lids and umbrellas?
I guess what I'm...
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, look, dude.
The thing that does concern me is the fact that, like, what you're talking about. This dude from the show Game of Thrones says power lies where men believes it lies. And that means, to me, this government exists because we allow it to.
That's right.
There's nothing in the Constitution that says that we have to allow these people to do the things that they're doing. Like, certainly not the tax part. That's not in the Constitution.
Listen, man, I know plenty of wealthy dudes that pay more to tax than they take home, and that means they work for the government. Yeah, you know, like my friends that live in California, they're paid more tax.
Yeah, anybody that's making over $2 million a year there is paying like a 58 to 61% tax.
That's insane. Yeah. Bro, you work for the government. And, you know, what the deal is those people are making so much money they don't care. They're like, fuck it. But at the end of the day, like, the conversation never comes.
You have to stop and think about what you're contributing to.
Yes.
Then, right? Like, do you want to be contributing to the shit that Gavin Newsom is doing? I would say, I did actually in 2017. I left California because of the bullshit that was going on there.
Bro, I wouldn't even go there. I wouldn't even go
Definitely
there.
Not now.
Yeah.
When I first went there, it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Like in 2011 or so, it was still okay. By the time I left, it was like, man, this place is fucked.
Dude, we used to have a little office out there in Hollywood for our influencer program. And so I spent a lot of time out there. And like, dude, it's just, you know, it's sad as fuck.
Yeah.
Because like you'll go to dinner, it's the disparity between the haves and the have-nots is like right in your fucking face.
Yeah.
And it's sad. And you know, it's weird that people can walk. This is really why I stopped going out there, dude. There's this restaurant there's a restaurant out there called the Little Door, and really cool spot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So my friends and I out there used to go to eat there. And you know, you go there to eat with 4 people, it's probably fucking $500.
Yeah, at least.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's not probably more. It's probably more like $750. It's a nice place.
Yeah.
You walk out from this amazing dinner, and on both sides of the fucking sidewalk,
Fucking homeless
there's tents and shit.
Yeah.
And like, dude,
Well, when's the last time you've been out there? Because now it's everywhere in Los Angeles.
I was out there last September for a speaking engagement, and it was, I mean,
now it's like Hollywood and Vine.
It was
There's
insane.
Homeless encampments.
Yeah, it was insane.
Which is, you
And
know,
bro, that's crazy because that W right there at Hollywood and Vine is where I stayed.
Yeah.
You know, and I loved it. But now it's look, man, we have to start looking, and this is a whole nother thing about American culture. We have to stop looking away from the problems and start understanding that the government is their interest is in creating those problems for those people. Like that might be
or at very least letting them happen and taking advantage of it.
100%.
Like it's
a hard thing to settle if you have a decent heart. Like if you have a decent heart and you care about people, that's a hard thing to understand. Like how could our government in America, you know, look away from these inner city communities or these homeless problems, and every 4 years come back and say, hey, we're going to fix this, vote for us, and then go to Washington or go to their state capital and pass fucking laws, bro, that make it worse for these people. Yeah. And like, dude, and then those people who like here in St. Louis, in the North St. Louis, it's predominantly black community, very high crime. You know, you go up there and talk to them, and they're like, "Bro, this is fucking bullshit."
Yeah,
like we need cops.
Please bring more police here. Yeah,
and then on the news, they're saying all these people think that you're a racist. No, they don't.
No,
like this fake division is. I think what's cool is people are starting to see it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
And
like,
it's really been cool.
One of the most important things. There's 2 things you touched on there. I'll start with the one most recent. One of the most important things people ask all the time, how do we get started fixing this problem? One of the most important things you can do is fucking talk to people, actual human beings, not on the internet, not, you know, listening to the news and hearing them interview people, because that's bullshit.
Yeah.
They just pick some dude with a fucking bunch of scars on his head and interview him like, hey, what do you think of Republicans?
Yeah.
Fuck Republicans.
Fucking racist.
Yeah, or whatever.
Yeah.
Go talk to actual people, because for 2 reasons. One, the media is definitely lying to you. You know what I mean?
About everything.
About literally everything. Yeah. And 2, it's hard. It's if everything that you know about, if you're a conservative, if you're listening to the show, you're probably libertarian or conservative. If you're one of those 2 things, and everything you know about modern Democrats or modern liberals is what you learned from fucking Fox News or Newsmax or any of these other organizations, or even me or you.
Yeah.
If the only thing you know about these people come from one of us or one of these news agencies, then you have fucking failed.
Yeah.
The reason I know the stuff that I know about them is because I go talk to these motherfuckers.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So that's the first step.
And what did we say last night? What do all people want? They want the same shit. They want to be safe. They
Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Bro.
Safety, security, shelter, so on.
The opportunity to build something better.
Yep.
You know, and
that's the whole function of society, by the way. It's not to have a stranglehold on activities and finances so the people at the top can fucking spend money however they want. That's not the point of all this.
It is right now.
The point of all this is to have centurions facing outward with spears in case anybody tries to invade, and, you know, a collective effort to build the infrastructure of the country. That's it.
I agree.
So the other thing is about habits. About how you said it yesterday, and you just alluded to it now. And I say this a lot. I say this is how I say it. Every time you do the hard right thing, the easier it becomes. Absolutely. And every time you do the lazy thing, right, or refuse to do something out of laziness or weakness, it becomes easier to do that as well. It's a fucking muscle. It's a reflex.
Absolutely.
Right?
You're talking about discipline muscle there, bro.
Discipline
you
begins...
make deposits or withdrawals. That's it.
It begins and ends with... leadership begins and ends with discipline. That's really what it is, because you can listen to us run our fucking mouths about all the cool shit we do and about all the fucking principles and standards we have. But if we're out there living a life that's not in Congress with that, then you know we're full of shit.
Yeah.
For example, if some guy's telling me the most deadly virus in the history of the world and you have to stay at home and wear a mask, and then he goes with his buddies to the French Laundry, for example, with no mask sitting inside, I'm like, okay, cool. I know that you don't believe what you just told me. So if you want to be a leader, if you want people to follow you, and if you think you have the right information that can help people's lives, that can save people's lives, and you're not making the effort to spread that information, then what the fuck are you doing with your life?
Being a pussy?
Yeah. Because what? You're afraid of what might happen? No, dude. Pick up your fucking nuts and be a leader.
Well, they've fucking conditioned people to believe that if you speak out, you're going to get fucking hammered. Which, by the way...
hammered by whom? These fucking bitches? Like, fuck them.
That's all I'm saying, bro. We got fucking 80% common sense people. They're not fucking hammering you. You're getting hammered by the fucking idiots causing the fucking problem anyway, so who cares? You know, like,
I'm not worried about getting... That's basically a pillow fight, so far as I'm concerned.
Come on. Yes. Like, dude, you guys have to understand that, like, we live in this amazing opportunity to be historically relevant, dude. Like, think of all the time that you, like, you know, I never served like you've served or anything like that. But, like, think of all the time as a kid, you like, fuck, dude, 1776. Like, you think, like, holy shit, dude, these guys... We
grew up playing cowboys and Indians. Now people grow up wondering what fucking gender they are.
Yeah, but, dude, think about this. We are at the fucking precipice of turning... Like, this is the most historically relevant time...
Probably since the Civil War.
Yes.
And before that, since the Revolution.
And we have an opportunity to lead people through this and restore our country to where it should be. And not only restore it, this is why I don't agree with the fucking MAGA, make America great again. Motherfucker, we ain't ever been great.
Yeah.
How much better we could be?
Well, Phil Jackson says, you're only great in the moment that you achieve greatness. Right?
Yeah.
Like, think about that.
Yeah.
Like, I did something that's great. I'm great right then, and then afterwards I have to be great again and 100%. Again and again. So the idea of Make America Great Again, it implies that there's some plateau that we can get to. We climb the hill or the mountain and we get there, and now we're just great. That's not how it fucking works, dude.
Not only that,
it's an uphill climb the whole fucking way.
Forever. Yes. Dude, it's
That's why you have to train your fucking kids, by the way. And not just your kids, but the people who, like, everybody wonders, how am I going to be a leader? I just work in a fucking office in a cubicle somewhere. Well, you're 30 years old. There's fucking 20-year-olds there, too. You're a leader to them, motherfucker, because you know more about life than they do. And what are you doing if you're spending all this time listening to us, reading books, watching the news, figuring out what's going on, thinking about how to solve problems, when one of the solutions is right there in front of you? You know what I mean? Have conversations with people. Be a fucking leader and live the life. You know, say out loud what you believe and then live your life according to that fucking principle.
And by the way, you're not going to be perfect at that.
No.
You're going to fuck it up.
Yeah.
You're going to come off track. You're going to get off the path. And your job is to be aware enough and care enough to get back on the path when you find yourself off of it.
Yep.
You know, there's this idea in society that everybody's got to be fucking perfect to be a leader. That's bullshit. The best leaders in the world were 50% fuck-ups.
Yeah, like Lincoln.
Yeah.
Failed.
Fucking Grant.
Lincoln failed pretty much at everything up until he got elected president, to be honest.
Ulysses S. Grant, one of the most underrated historical figures of the United States history. People don't know his story. This dude sold fucking firewood on the fucking corners of St. Louis, bro. That's after he was president, by the way.
Yeah.
You know, like, dude, the amount of sacrifice, and like what pissed me off too, I'm just got to mention this, but during the BLM riots, they tore down a statue of fucking Ulysses S. Grant. And I'm like, you motherfucker.
Because his wife's family inherited one slave.
Not only that, bro, he was the motherfucker on the fucking horses riding into the fucking, to free the slaves himself. Like actually killing motherfuckers to fucking get the slaves free, and you're going to tear down his fucking statue. Like, it shows you the ignorance of our entire fucking country. Like, you know, we were talking about the interview with the video. They pick one guy who says, "Oh, fuck Republicans, are racist."
Yeah.
Bro, have you ever watched these videos where they walk down the street and ask people, like, how many states there are?
Oh, yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, there's 65 states."
Yeah.
You know, it's like, dude, you're dealing with people that don't know shit. And so when it comes to leading and it comes to, like, you know, I think the biggest thing that people misunderstand, like you just mentioned, the 30-year-old guy to the 20-year-old guy, there's no leadership god that comes around and hits you on the head with a fucking wand and says, "Hey, guess what, Dan? Now you're a leader." Yeah. We have to take it upon ourselves. It requires initiative. It requires you identifying things that are wrong. Bro, take off your fucking clothes and go look in the fucking mirror, bro.
Yeah.
Take off your fucking clothes and go look in the mirror. It'll tell you everything about your fucking standards. That's the truth. Yeah. And if you want to know where to start there. Because, dude, when people see you holding yourself to a higher standard with what you put in your body, or holding yourself to a higher standard by getting out and moving or walking or making an effort to be better, bro, that inspires people to be better. Like the 30-year-old guy you just mentioned, let's just say he's 100 pounds overweight, like a lot of Americans. And by the way, I used to be as well, okay? So no judgment here. Like, we all fuck up and we all get out of line. But, you know, when you make a change like that and you start to raise your standards and you start to be better, you're leading. Yeah. You're setting an example for people around you. Like, you don't have to go around to everybody in your office and say, "Hey, motherfucker, I lost 100 pounds. When the fuck are you going to do it?"
Now, people will notice.
That's right. Yeah. And the people that, when people are ready, they will begin. Yeah. And so, dude, what we have is, you know, bro, I'm 43 years old, dude. I'm a pretty wealthy dude. I've been very successful in business. I still look at myself and I'm like, bro, am I qualified to fucking lead? You know what I'm saying?
It's
am I qualified to fucking
imposter syndrome?
Dude, for sure. Yeah. And we all have it. So, like, if I still have it, and you probably still have it sometimes, well, fuck, you guys are going to have it too. Yeah. So understand that's just part of it. And when we start to hold ourselves to these higher standards, you know, when we talk about, like, culturally representing what you think America should be, it really does start with the individual. And they've got us convinced that someone's going to come along, and I actually think that's part of the fucking play to get their shit in. Yeah. It's
idol worship.
Yes.
That's really what it really is. Like, wwhether it's Biden or Trump or Obama or anybody like that, it's idol worship.
Yes. And bro, we have to get to a point where we understand. You said this on the show yesterday. It's not about worshiping the person. It's about respecting and living the words and the values and the standards that this country's supposed to be. And then who you vote for should be who mirrors that, not who spent the most money or who was in a scandal you don't want to vote for.
I've got an idea about that. So, and one solution I think that might be appropriate for this lesser of two evils voting pattern that we seem to have is a minimum vote requirement, right? So let's say Hillary versus Trump 2016 or Trump Biden 2020, whomever it is. You have to get X number of votes in the state to win, and if you don't, then you fucking both people lose and you have another vote until somebody gets the votes. And that way, abstaining from voting is a vote in and of itself. It's a rejection of both candidates. I think that's something that's been missing. People often offer a third-party candidate as a solution to that, but I don't know if that works.
I think the third-party candidate, and you said there's a lot of libertarians. I think libertarians kind of fuck us a lot, if I'm being real, because they either won't vote or they'll say, I'm not voting for. They won't vote for the better guy because he doesn't represent all of their shit. Yeah. Right? Like, this is my problem with libertarians is they're like, oh, fucking roads. We don't need no fucking tax. Motherfucker, you ain't ever run shit. Yeah. You got to have some money coming in.
Yeah, sure.
Okay?
Yeah.
So maybe we should be asking these people to spend our money a little bit more wisely. Yeah. Maybe we should make some rules at government like, hey.
I don't think we should have Congress and Senate making those decisions. People should vote on that shit, and we should have accountants handling the books, but they don't have any authority. They just handle the books.
Well, bro,
you know what I mean? Why are we putting 550 or so people in charge of all of our money? That doesn't make any sense.
Hold on. Think about this. You and I run a company. We got 15%. We've got 15% allocated towards marketing.
Marketing, yeah.
Right? And we're like, fuck. Well, we got to get this to 50%. What do you do? There's no option there. You're going to be out of fucking business.
Yeah.
Okay. And what they keep doing is they keep digging further into our lives to satisfy their poor decision making. Yeah. And I believe it's past their poor decision making. I believe now it's theft.
Yeah.
And if we made
they think they're entitled to the money,
of course,
which is a very feudalistic way to think about things. Like I'm the politician here. That's our money.
Yeah,
like,
that's
fuck you.
And that's a culture that's taken hold of our fucking government, bro.
Yeah.
And so we have this situation now where it's no longer they represent us; it's we serve them, and that's a fundamental ideology that the regular American citizen should really take a close look at, because the whole idea of America is representative republic.
Yep.
And we have a situation now where these people in government, they don't think of it like, oh, I'm here to do good for Andy and Dan.
Yeah.
They think, hey man, maybe we can get Andy and Dan to pay another 15%.
Yeah, so we can fucking do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah. So I can put my son on the board of this technology company in fucking Taiwan. Like, dude, this is pure. They have left the banner of freedom up, and they have slowly brought in oppressive communist ideology. And we still buy the freedom story because they've left the sign up on the front of the fucking store.
Yeah.
Like, this ain't fuck. It'd be like having a restaurant, bro, that served fucking fried chicken, and it says on the outside fried chicken.
Yeah.
And then, over time they introduce some sushi, right? And then a little less fried chicken, and then over time more sushi, a little less fried chicken, and then before you know it, you're going into the fried chicken restaurant. There isn't any fried chicken.
Yeah.
It's just sushi, but they haven't changed the sign yet. And that's what's going on in America with freedom and communism. It's sliding in, creating a scenario where it's highly oppressive. And the libertarian group of people, which honestly, I think most people are of that mindset of live and let live, which unfortunately, guys, I agree with, but that's the problem. The problem is you can't if you live and let live, you're opening yourself up. Like if you live and let live and don't lead, you are opening yourself up to have someone who is evil or oppressive lead you because you don't want to take the initiative to do the work.
And by the way, that's what conservative means. Like the literal definition of conservative in Western politics is somebody who conserves the principles of their country, the principles that their country was based on. So people think that there's a specific economic style linked to conservatism. Small government, yes, but a specific economic style, not necessarily, right? I mean, capitalism for sure, but like there's plenty.
I believe in ethical capitalism, bro.
Yeah.
Like I think capitalism in a fucking greed format, when it gets like it is right now, where the biggest companies in the world have become literal monopolies, and that's not. I don't believe that's what capitalism is supposed to look like.
Now you got to have what's his name, John Mackey, on the show sometime soon after he retired. He's the CEO of Whole Foods.
I saw that he made a thing about socialists. Yeah. He's afraid that socialists are taking. Yeah, bro, you're late to the fucking party.
He was just on my buddy's show. Well, he's been saying this since the early 2000s.
Oh, he has.
Yeah.
He sold out. They sold right to
Amazon. Yeah. He lit Milton Friedman up in like 2005, way back in the day. But he was my buddy Nick Gillespie. He's the editor of Reason Magazine. It's a libertarian publication, which but Mackey was like, socialists are taking over this country. What he calls it is maybe conscious capitalism or something like that. Hold on, let me see if it's in here. I can't remember what the fuck he called it. I don't know. But what he's describing is the social contract, right? Like, it isn't just we abide by a set of rules and spend some dollars on taxes, and for that we get representation, we get roads, we get defense, and so on and so forth. It's that when you become successful in a community, or when you have the power to protect people, right, you have the obligation. With the right comes the obligation. That's what the definition of a citizen is. It's a person with the rights and obligations granted to them by citizenship. That's what that's the literal definition of a citizen. So it is incumbent upon people, whether it's a small piece of information that might be able to help people's lives, some kind of strategy on discipline, just holding people accountable, teaching them how to start a fucking business, or giving them the courage to do things in public, whatever it is. Or if you're a wealthy person, to find a way to use your wealth to help other people.
Absolutely.
Like these things are, and if you see somebody not doing that, if you see a company, like I don't know what Bezos does charity-wise.
I don't either.
I know that he didn't give a lot to charity, and when his wife got half his money, she gave a lot of it to charity. So maybe he's a cunt. I don't know. But
yeah, I don't know either. I'm not familiar. But what I do have a problem with what they do is when they bring companies onto their platform and then they replicate the fucking product and then they sell it for fucking cost and put these small businesses out of fucking business.
While they're charging a 30% surcharge to host your products in the first place.
We talked about this at my house yesterday. If you guys really want to fix the greed problem with capitalism, you have to be more conscious about where the fuck you shop.
Right.
You know, this is you going to the small shoe store in your community versus going on to fucking Amazon and buying your shoes.
Do the hard thing.
Yeah, bro. Just be slightly inconvenienced. Like, do shit the way we did it 15 years ago. Where and by the way, that's a better way to live anyway. You end up meeting people. You end up socializing. You're not trapped in this phone. You know, but if people really wanted to fix shit quickly, they would take control of their own fucking health. They would manifest and
take control of their own mind too,
bro. They would do 75 hard and fucking do hard. That's it. Okay. Yeah. If you want to know about 75 hard, I'll fucking plug it. Go to 75hard.com. It's a mental toughness development program.
Well, you've got an app and everything now, right? So,
but dude, you take care of that first, and then you make some decisions based upon your lifestyle that are slightly less convenient than what it is you've been doing.
Like, how can I burn some of the fat off? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this should be part of Arete, dude, because this is something that we do in business all the time.
Yeah.
Every quarterly report, like, all right, cool. We probably didn't need to spend that money.
Yes.
Let's either not spend it or find a better way to spend it next time.
Yeah.
That's something you should be doing in your daily life.
Yeah.
Like, how did I spend last week? That little fucking notification that pops up on your phone on Sunday telling you how much time you spent on your phone, maybe take a look at that.
Yeah.
Be like, all right, I'm going to reduce that by 20% next week.
Bro, I had 2 days this week where I kind of wasn't able to be on my phone. And there was the first 2 days that I was that busy where I couldn't. And the amount of peace I felt at the end of the day was shockingly massive in disparity.
Brittany says the same. Like, whenever the kid's going to be 15 in December, so he's in that moody, bitchy fucking teenager stage, hormones are going crazy. But even before that, when he was like 12 or whatever, and it's the same now, whenever he gets in trouble and his phone gets taken away or whatever, totally different kid.
Yeah.
Like, he's responsive and polite, and it's not because he wants the phone back. He never even asks about it.
Yeah.
He just like
peace.
So it's like, this is why I say that, to bring this back to leadership, it begins and ends with discipline. Every self-help book you're ever going to read, every business strategy book, every diet book or fitness book or any of that bullshit, psychology books, everything Jordan Peterson talks about is that leadership begins and ends with discipline. Discipline is making choices, right? Particularly when they're tough, when they're inconvenient, to do the right thing regardless of what the outcome might be, whether it's you're being a little, you're going to be a little more tired.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how you feel.
Yeah, so each time you choose to do the right thing, it gets easier. Each time you choose to do the wrong thing, it gets easier. So how do you implement that in your daily life? We talked about on your show yesterday. There's something in your home or work that you've been walking past, or that you routinely walk past, or maybe you don't hold the door for people, or maybe you don't I don't fucking know, say or hug your fucking wife in the morning every day. There's some little thing that'll get you started, right? And you start doing that thing with intent. This is the problem that we're running into with leadership and discipline now. The external influence on us, the elements, you know, that used to force us into these disciplinary habits don't exist anymore. So you have to go out and recreate that shit for yourself. You have to. You have to set boundaries for yourself. You have to make things intentionally difficult for yourself, because that's how human beings thrive.
Look, man, most people believe that things like discipline, things like confidence, things like self-esteem, things like grit, mental toughness.
Like it's something you're born with.
That's right. They think it's a fucking trait. It is not a trait.
And
society teaches you that that's a trait because they don't want you to make the investments that you would need to make to develop those things, because when you develop those things, you become more independent and you're less dependent on them, which gives them less power.
You're not going to learn that shit in public schools. That's for sure.
No.
But you can look back at, like, even they brush up against it.
I was mystified by it for years, bro. Like, I used to look at people.
Like, how's he doing that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I look at, dude, I could not. Look, bro, you know, I used to be fat as fuck. I was 350 fucking pounds. Okay. And by the way, that was 2015. I was still rich. I was making money. I had businesses and all this shit. The thing, I couldn't even make it through 5 or 6 days without cheating on my diet. And that's how far away my discipline was from where I'm at now.
Well, what was the key for you?
Well, dude, I used to look at people and I would say, hey, what is it these dudes have? Like, what is it these like exceptional, like I would, even my friends here at First Form or wherever, and I would see them be able to like do these incredibly hard things. I'm like, fuck, that's a tough motherfucker, dude. How the fuck you do that? And I was mystified, bro. Like, and it really kind of put in perspective my life previous to that, because I realized how much I left on the table. But when I started realizing, I became a student. I've always been a student of mental toughness and grit and all these things, because not because I had them, but because I didn't have them. And so I was like mystified by the whole thing. And what I realized, I had a James Lawrence on my show. You guys know him as the Iron Cowboy. He's done some really incredible human shit. Ran 50 Ironmans, full distance Ironmans in 50 states in 50 days. Did 101 full distance Ironmans in a row. And this dude's tough. And him and I had a conversation, and it clicked for me. Like, to become disciplined, you have to do things that require discipline. And I had this fucking guitar teacher. So this is how I put it together. So I had this guitar teacher back in like when I was like 30, and he used to say, Andy, you're such a high-strung dude, you lack patience. And I'm like, well, fuck, I can't help that. And he's like, well, yeah, you can. You know how you get patience? And I'm like, no.
Being patient.
No, he's like, doing things that require patience. Yeah. And I always remember that because it was such a profound thing. And then, 10 years later, when I met James and I talked to James, he said the same thing about discipline. And then it clicked for me right away. I was like, oh, fuck, dude.
So the problem for you was what is likely the problem for most people, which is to say,
they believe you're born with it.
Yeah, you think it's an inherent trait and not something that you have to develop.
Yes, all these people right now listening, there's all kinds of people listening right now or listening to my show who feel the way that I felt before I fucking figured that out. They think like, yeah, dude, I get that discipline. They look at guys like Goggins and they're like, how the fuck you do that?
Goggins was a fat piece of shit too.
Exactly.
He just decided to not do that anymore.
That's right.
Yeah.
And now and when we talked about discipline being a muscle, he's made enough. Dude, it is no different than training your muscle. If you go to the gym and you do fucking 30 curls a day and you do that every other day for a year, your arm's going to fucking look good.
Yeah.
That's it.
And you're going to feel like the way that you feel now when you get challenged and don't feel like doing something, that's the way you'll feel when you don't do the work.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's the important part to look forward to.
Yes.
Not to say that you're not going to continuously be challenged.
It doesn't take that long either.
No, it really doesn't. Well, it's 21 days typically.
Yeah.
I mean, but some people are certainly...
I think it's 10 weeks.
21 days is the old math.
That's what they tell you. But from my experience, I think it's about 10 weeks.
That's probably more accurate.
Yeah, because if you look at like the military training, it's always 10 to 12 weeks. 75 hard is 10 and a half weeks. Like, bro, that program that I give away for free, it changes motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Like permanently.
Yeah.
And
I mean, you see it. Just fucking go to Andy's Instagram page and then click over on the tagged photos, and you'll see person after person who's tagged you, and their shit like, my life has completely changed because of this. By the way, it's not rocket science. You didn't fucking get a PhD to figure this out. It was just life experience.
It's very basic shit. Yeah. You know, it's 5 basic things that you have to do for 75 days in a row. And at the end of the 75 days, you're going to look at yourself and you're going to say, holy fuck, I did that.
Yeah.
And now you know you can do hard shit.
Yeah.
Part of the whole problem with discipline is that people don't believe they have it, so they don't ever even attempt it. It's a tragedy, dude.
Every great movement begins with the first step,
bro. It's a tragedy, bro.
Yeah,
you guys,
but it's perception. It's not reality.
No, it's not.
Yeah, so that's the weird. Like, there are certainly people who are more predisposed to do hard shit than other people. You know what I mean?
I don't think it's perception. I think we are intentionally taught that we. My personal opinion, this is gonna get conspiracy fucking theory or whatever. I don't fucking know. I don't know the difference anymore. But my personal opinion on this is that we have been indoctrinated to believe that we are so far less capable than what we are actually capable of by everything. The media, the school system, Hollywood. You know, they make it seem like these people who achieve these incredible things are some sort of superhuman people. They're not. They're just people who do shit and do it long enough that it turns into something.
Yeah.
And, you know, I have a different perspective on that now sitting where I'm at than when I did when I was 19 years old and I first started the company. And I thought, you know, I used to think like this. Like, fuck, dude, I wonder if we're going to be one of those people that actually makes it.
Yeah.
You know, like, is the success gods going to favor me? You know, like, I used to think about it like that.
Like, it's rolling the dice.
Bro,
I mean, look, there's going to be stuff that's out of your control sometimes.
Sure.
And, you know, if you start 5 businesses, 2 or 3 of them might fail.
For sure. But what do you learn?
Yeah. One of them will be good, typically. Yeah, it's... I don't know that... I think maybe we missed out on that as kids. I don't remember being taught this stuff. But I feel...
I think they intentionally... Bro, I think we've been lied to so fucking bad. I think humans are so much more... I think they're capable of so much more that, like, you and I don't even fucking comprehend what we're actually capable of. What you and I have figured out, and people like us, is that we're actually capable of a little bit more. But I actually think it's way more than that.
I can do whatever the fuck I want.
I believe that too.
It's just a matter of, like, at some point the options become so great that you have to, like, hone in on a couple of things and just do those things really well.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's any real limit to human potential, to be honest. People can do whatever they want. But yeah, you are coached from the moment you walk into a fucking public kindergarten. You're coached to be a compliant worker. What does success in school mean? It means to be quiet and get good grades.
That's right.
Not to question authority, for sure.
Yeah.
Not to be creative. It's to be compliant and get good grades. Like, what the fuck are we teaching these people?
How to be worker bees?
Yeah. Rockefeller said it. I don't want I'm paraphrasing. He's like, I don't want, like, some fucking super smart, motivated population. I want people who are paying, buying my products. That's what I want.
Yeah, that's good for him.
Yeah. Well, that's the patrician attitude.
Yeah, that's not good for everybody.
They think that all of society exists for them to stand on their shoulders.
Yeah,
and that those people got to go, man.
No, they do, and you know, we have to be conscious about supporting people in business and life with our dollars, with our support that are actually out there trying to pull humans up. You know, like, there's a lot of people out there that are literally. Well, here's what fucking burns my ass, bro. During COVID, they shut down all the small businesses.
And the gyms.
Okay, and the gyms. And, yeah, no shit.
That was a weird one.
Well, not really.
The one place that you really needed to be was there.
Bro, yeah. If you think of it like these people have good hearts, for sure. But if you think about it like they're trying to literally cause as much destruction and pain as possible, it makes perfect sense. And that's what they were doing, in my opinion. But, you know, fuck, what was I going to say?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either.
Shit. Well,
I had something good to say, bro.
People were shutting down all the small businesses, right?
Yeah. Oh, I was saying
the
that's
government
what burns my
rather.
ass.
Yeah.
The how people will support, you know, the Walmarts and the Amazons, but they won't. They'll fucking ask their small business buddy for a fucking discount.
Yeah.
It's like, bro.
Come on, man.
Dude, they shut down all these mom and pops to hurt us, okay? To hurt your family, to hurt your friends, to fucking hurt the small business community, and to steal the sales.
Yeah.
They closed everything and took the sales, and you motherfuckers continue to shop there.
Yep.
Like, you're still going to the Targets. You're still going to the fucking Walmarts. You're still going to Amazon, and you're bitching about shit. Well, hey, man, you're contributing to it. You know, we have to be fucking more intelligent about where we direct our little bitty amounts of influence cash flow wise.
Yeah, it should be no surprise to people that a decade after Citizens United, which was a Supreme Court case that decided that corporations could spend unlimited money on political campaigns, right? It should be no surprise to anybody that the richest corporations in the world, when given the opportunity, the government fucking gave them handouts, right? And let them stay open and all this shit while they closed down small business.
Is that not the definition of fascism?
It is the definition of fascism.
Okay.
Now.
So isn't it ironic that all the Antifa fuckers and everybody on the far left calls everybody fascist, when in reality you're the useful idiot soldier of the true fascists?
Yeah, I don't know if they know where they are.
They don't even fucking, bro. They don't know shit. They don't know anything about what they stand for. It's just they're angry, you know. And maybe if they, like, I don't know, like, looked around to see who's telling them what and why they're telling them, and maybe just said, hey, you know, my life doesn't look real good right now. I don't have any money. Everybody seems to fucking hate me.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if I'm a man or a woman. I'm confused on all these things. Maybe look around and think, like, who the fuck has been lying to you?
Well, think about it this way too. Like, I'm a big tent kind of guy. My target audience is everybody, because I think these messages are for everybody. The government's target audience is also everybody. And if you think that there's a big difference between the right and the left, this Supreme Court decision that I just mentioned, Citizens United, which is what has allowed the billions of dollars. A typical presidential election now, each candidate spends about $2 billion. Right? Each party, I'm sorry. Because all the PACs, the DCCC, the RCCC, and all these organizations, they spend about $2 to $4 billion per election cycle.
It's a fucking grift.
So that Supreme Court ruling, 9-0. All the liberals and all the conservatives agreed that corporations should be able to spend their money to get people elected in this country.
Why did they agree to that? I know why.
Because that's their fucking overlord.
That's right. No, bro. That's how they get fucking rich. These people are all fucking protecting each other's shit. This is no different than if you get, like, dude, how many lawsuits you guys been in with fucking your companies? Quite a few.
Who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
You ever notice that the lawyers on their side and the lawyers on your side are a little too friendly?
Well, it's like even when I'm doing contracts, I used to not keep an eye on it. Now I keep an eye on it.
Bro, they do this shit.
It's like they'll bounce it back and forth and keep billing me quarter hours. Like, no, dude, shut this shit down. And I call them out now, so they don't really do it too much anymore. But I'm like, hey, I'm not getting billed for all this back and forth you're doing for a question that I already answered.
These motherfuckers, they say, so dude, let's say this is what the common American citizen doesn't understand about the legal system. Let's say Dan and I are suing each other right now, and we both hire our biggest, baddest attorney buddy.
Yeah.
Okay? Those attorneys call each other.
Yeah.
And they say, hey, I got Andy. He's fucking pissed off.
Yeah.
Okay? And they're like, well, fucking Dan's pissed off too. Well, what do you think? And they're like, I don't know. Let's go out on the golf course and fucking ride around and we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
And then they bill you for that.
And they bring back some offers.
Well, no. Here's what they do, though. During that golf outing, it could be lunch, it could be drinking, whatever the fuck it is. They say shit. It comes out like this. Well, I think we could fucking drag him out for this.
Yeah.
I think we could get him to do this. I think this is where they already know the outcome. And so instead of like getting to the outcome, they decide how far they're going to stretch it out so that it milks both myself and him. And by the way, doesn't solve the problem and makes us fucking hate each other.
Right.
That's a problem.
Yeah, it sucks.
And who runs the government, bro?
Well, it's all lawyers, yeah. I mean, this this is why it's important to be aware of things, just to keep your eyes open. It's what we definitely have fallen asleep at the wheel, and it's what being aware of things does. Sunlight's the best disinfectant, right? So what being aware of things does is it means you're not that motherfucker to steal on anymore. And the more people who are awake, the less people there are to steal on, and that the infrastructure for that criminal class begins to go away because it's not profitable anymore. So it's like you don't have to be faster than the bear, you just have to be faster than the other guy.
I mean, bro, why is it? Why do government officials get special privileges? Why are they allowed to pass tax codes that don't apply to them?
Yeah.
Why do they pass laws that don't apply to them? How is it that they can accept bribes, quote unquote, lobbying money to pass laws? That's all of this shit should be fucking illegal. Like, there shouldn't be a situation where companies can bribe politicians to pass fucking laws. Like, because they call it lobbying or they call it political contributions. No, it's a fucking bribe. Yeah. It's if you pass this, we'll give you this. And this is how people like Nancy Pelosi go in office and stay there for 40 fucking years and come out with $500 million in net worth.
And it's so institutionalized, you don't have to have the conversation anymore. Like a lobbyist
they all
and
know
a politician, they don't have to say it out loud anymore.
No.
They just know the rules.
It's the culture.
You know, and the only way to combat that is for government to be small, right?
Absolutely.
Look at how a bill gets passed these days. So the bill for the burn pit thing from military veterans that was just going through. Everybody's trying to add their own fucking riders to it, and it can't get passed because of this reason or that reason.
Meanwhile, people are fucking getting sick as fuck.
Yeah, and it's like, then I think no group of people other than maybe inner city black Americans have ever been used as a political pawn more than soldiers in the history of this country.
I agree.
I like to refer to them as children of divorced nations. Like, there's two parents that hate each other, and they're just trying to like tell the kid one thing, like that your dad's not a good person or your mom's a bitch or whatever the fuck. And in the meantime, we don't get any of the shit we need. Or, you know, worse, it seems to flip every now and then. So all the major wars of the 20th century were started by Democrats. A lot of people forget about this, right? So World War I, II, Korea, Vietnam, all of those. The only one that wasn't was Gulf War I, which is a response to something else. But every war that we got ourselves into was started by a fucking Democrat.
That's ironic, since they're actually the weakest people of society.
Well, weak people often lash out. Now, I'm not saying that we shouldn't have been involved in 1 and 2. I think especially 2. But Korea and Vietnam were fucking pointless.
Well, I think at this time, I mean, look, dude, I don't have the military perspective that you have, and a lot of these guys listening probably have. But at the end of the day, here's what pisses me the fuck off. How many years you spent over there doing things? Years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Years.
Yep.
Derek Whiteup, good buddy of mine, buddy of yours.
Yep. We were there together, actually.
Lost his fucking leg.
Yep.
Okay. They tell these guys, oh, we're going over there for fucking freedom. We're going there for this. We're going there for that. And they send people over there. Our men and women get fucking killed so that they can make fucking money, bro.
Yeah. Well, the truly fucked up thing about the global war on terror is I think between Iraq and Afghanistan, I think there were 7,800 deaths, a lot more casualties in the tens of thousands, but 70,000 suicides, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. Yeah.
Well, dude, does that not, dude, tell me if I'm wrong, but does that not come from a moral conflict that people realize they went over there and did some shit that they may now think that wasn't right?
Yeah, it's called the moral injury. That's what psychologists refer to it as. So if you look at the people in the first half of the 20th century who received the Medal of Honor, there's a higher suicide rate than the average soldier, which is an interesting thing. But yeah, when people have to endure high levels of stress and anxiety like that for extended periods of time, and then, do some horrible shit, fucking kill people and shit, and watch their buddies get killed. The redeeming quality for that is that there was some purpose for that.
Correct.
Right? So it's like if you worked out every fucking day hard as fuck and you just kept gaining weight, you would stop. And you like that. Why would you continue doing it?
Yeah.
Not only would you stop, you would be extremely confused and depressed by that fact because you gave everything you had and there were no results to be found there.
Bro, I'm getting angry sitting here talking about this.
Well, we've been angry for a long time.
Yeah.
Anger's a useful tool. I like to tell people if you can inhale anger and rage and exhale purpose, then you can really do something. But if you just breathe fire in and out all the time, then all you're going to do is start an Instagram account and fucking get paid to post things about how good Republicans are.
Yeah.
That's what I see.
Sell fucking t-shirts.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like that.
You were saying there was the redeeming quality was purpose.
That's the redeeming quality for every struggle in life, right? And one thing follows the other. It's kind of a chicken and egg situation. Like, is it the purpose that fulfills us, or do we need the purpose in the first place, right? Or is it the struggle that defines us, or is it the struggle and how it relates to purpose that really defines us? It's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. It could be one or the other, but I think it's the purpose because, at least for human beings that are like a dog is going to do dog shit because that's all they know how to do. But there's still goals involved there. They're like I have to eat, I have to do this, I want shelter, comfort, whatever the fuck. The same general hierarchy of needs that human beings have. But with human beings, now we're sitting around thinking about all the shit we just did and trying to contextualize it in the world we live in. And if it doesn't make sense, then our brain begins to rebel. And it is the combination of purpose and then the struggle and the noble struggle and effort towards that purpose that defines our lives. And when you remove the nobility of the purpose or the purpose entirely, then the struggle becomes pain instead of reward. You know what I mean? That's how that works. And it's what we've done to an entire generation of warfighter. And now we're telling all of them that they're fucking domestic terrorists and trying to take their money and liberty away, and we think, what, that's going to go good? You know what I mean? That's a fucking really bad combination.
Listen, I know who I'm fucking with.
Yeah.
I'm with you guys. Like, dude, like, fuck that.
I just don't understand why they think this is a good idea.
My you know, I shared this story with you. My dad's biological dad was killed a few weeks after Normandy. And my dad never met him. And he was raised by another man who knew my dad's biological dad. You know, he came back. They were war buddies. Came back, raised his two brothers, and then had a family with my grandma. And that was like in the day, that's like an honorable thing, right? Like it's not like ho shit, like you know the internet does now. We're talking about like, look, that's a it is what it is. But anyhow, I've always felt an obligation to serve, not in any way that I can. And we talked about this. You know, a lot of people think serving is like only military. Bro, service is your fucking life. It's how you live. It can be political service. It can be you serving America. You know, what'd you say? You said, what did you do what have you done today? What have you done today?
Well, one of the principles is I'll do something every day to help my country. My countrymen are all men.
Yeah, and dude, things like taking care of yourself are things that will help the country. You know what I'm saying? Like living to a higher state. Like that's the point I hope people will realize is that the cultural decay and the moral decay. And by the way, bro, I'm not fucking Mr. Morality, Jesus. Okay, there's plenty of shit out there that I fucked up or done wrong that I try to improve upon. So like, don't take this as preachy, but we have to like be better. You know, we have to hold a higher standard. Like we can't be these apathetic, lazy, fat, weak, misinformed citizenship. Because
that's a subject. That's not a citizen. Well, that's the difference, right? Like you're a subject under rule and not a citizen.
Be conquered then.
Yeah, that's subject, subjugate. That's where the word comes from. But it's so. I'm going to take your point a step farther. You say that we can't be all these things, lazy, weak, whatever the fuck. But
I mean it so much so that it's an obligation to not be that.
Yeah, I'm 100%. But the obligation goes a step farther. It's one of the mainstream solution to that these days is this idea of self-care for its own sake, right? Like to take care of myself just for myself and then pat myself on the back for what I just did. No, the reason you make yourself better is for everybody else.
Correct.
Like, I think it would be a good idea. Maybe I'll make this poster. I've got a poster and it just says, it's not about me.
It isn't. And
I think I'm going to put it up. I've been meaning to do this. I'm going to put it up in my room so it's the first thing I see every day when I wake up. Because if you make your life all about yourself, then you're going to fall into all these traps. Well, you're going to do the easy thing, the comfortable thing, the convenient thing. But if you make it about other people, then you have to go out and actually accomplish things.
Well, if we talk about depression, we talk about unfulfillment, we talk about all these things that plague our society right now, you know, that all comes from lack of purpose. And you can give yourself a purpose real quick by saying exactly what you just said. It's not about me. You know, you and I have been friends for a few minutes. You know, you see me out there doing my fucking cardio when it's 105 degrees outside or when it's a foot of snow.
Yeah.
And I don't do that shit. I could easily go and walk on my treadmill in the basement of my house and comfort. The reason I do this and the reason I show it has nothing to fucking do with you guys thinking, oh, dude, this guy thinks he's tough or whatever. No, bro, I'm showing you that even where I am along the journey, I'm still putting in the work. And if I'm willing to put that work in, I'm hoping that you'll recognize and say, okay, well, I can do some of that too.
Yeah. Leaders, I say this a lot, leaders eat last, but they work first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're the first motherfucker off the plane and the first one or the last one back on it.
Yeah.
That's Hal Moore made a big deal of that. The guy, have you seen We Were Soldiers?
I don't know.
It was a book before, but it was Mel Gibson.
So. The Mel Gibson movie?
Yeah,
I can't remember.
It's the first unit that went into Vietnam, basically.
Okay.
I think it was 1st Cav or 7th Cav or some shit. But he made it an intentional thing to be the first person off the first helicopter and the last person on the last helicopter to leave. And that's the thing. So people will say, well, you're just doing it for your business. Yeah, that's true. Sure. To be an example for my business, because I think my business is doing the right thing.
It's important.
If you're in a business and you don't think it's heading in the right direction or doing something that contributes and is ethical and moral, then you probably shouldn't be doing it in the fucking first place.
Not only that, I think this is, like, from a practical standpoint, this is a big problem with fucking business owners anyway, is that they concentrate, like we talked about in the very first 5 fucking minutes of the show. They concentrate on the reward, which is what the dopamine, instead of the process and the solution they're trying to provide. One of the biggest things you can do as an operator of a business is to forget about the fucking money you're making and figure out how to solve that problem that people are coming to you for in such a way that they are over the top excited about it. And if you could pour yourself into that, the money will always be there.
Here's what I mentioned it earlier. Here's what John Mackey, the CEO of Whole Foods, said to Milton Friedman in 2005. From an investor's perspective, the purpose of the business is to maximize profit. But that's not the purpose for other stakeholders. For customers, employees, suppliers, and the community, each of these groups will define the purpose of the business in its own terms and desires, and each perspective is just as valid and legitimate, right? So this is what we call a value proposition, right? In marketing and business, we like to reduce things down to these little phrases, but what it really means is that if you want to be a successful business, you're going to go one of two ways. Either you're going to have some authoritarian bend, you're going to break rules, pay people off, and whatever the fuck else, right? Or you're going to do the right thing enough with a good product that people are going to be like, yes, I want to be associated with that thing. And that isn't a business lesson. That's a life lesson.
It is.
So if you're out there and you think you have the right idea, you got to live that shit in a way that's obvious to people, right? Not that you have to flaunt it in front of them, but you have to not be apologetic about it either.
Yeah.
And you have to live it in a way that is defensible, meaning you're actually doing the shit you're saying. And then people will listen when you fucking talk to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's no more power on earth than that. That makes you the ultimate leader. When you have captured the attention of even just one person who you can benefit, now you've done your job as a human being for that day.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Bro, I think you touched on something super powerful there too, man. Not apologizing for whatever it is you're doing and how you're doing it when you know that the intention is pure in your heart. And by the way, your intention, just because you have a pure intention doesn't mean that you're not going to get anything on the back end. Okay? That has nothing to do with it. The money you make in a business, that's a fucking byproduct of the quality of what you provide. And once you, dude, all these young bucks, the young kids coming up now, they think money.
Well, they define success by that, but that's not.
By the way, bro, when I was 19, I thought the same shit.
Yeah,
but that's also why I spent 10 years not making any money. That's also why my first 10 years in business, I made $58,000 total, not per year. First 3 years, $0. Next 7 years, $695 a month. $58,000 for 10 years of work. I could have made more money working at fucking McDonald's because I didn't grasp the concept of what we're talking about right here, which is this. Businesses and people exist to serve and solve problems. And when you serve and solve problems in a way that is better than everybody else, you get fucking paid.
Yeah.
That's reality. And, you know, you said the not apologizing thing. You know, you guys out there who are winning a little bit, and by the way, you don't have to fucking be a billionaire. You don't have to have a fucking super cool car or cars or fucking big house or anything. But, dude, it is important that you share your wins because we live in a society right now that villainizes success. And the reason that they villainize success and the reason that they villainize people who win is because they know that if you show your wins, other people will be inspired. And that's a problem for them.
That's why, you know, when somebody who has divergent political viewpoints begins to become successful, the media comes after them.
Absolutely.
Like, oh, did you hear this about him? Like, fuck you, dude.
I know this. I know this story. Are you?
Yeah. I mean, it's why the media. I think some of the deals, some of the stuff that Elon Musk does.
Bro,
with
these
China,
motherfuckers ran a hit piece on Good Morning America
about
fucking 75 Hard. Because it's helping so many motherfucking people.
Why? What would the hit piece be exactly?
It was, it's too extreme. It's too this. It's too that.
You can quit whenever you want.
Not only that, bro, nobody's making you do it.
Yeah.
Second of all, look, bro, it's just anything out there.
How can you call something voluntary too extreme?
I don't know, bro. Listen, people, here's how. A bunch of pussies call it that.
Oh, boy.
Okay? A bunch of people who fucking can't do shit call it that. All right? There's a big difference and a huge disparity and massive gap between people who are winners and people who are fucking losers. You know that.
It's a choice.
Yeah, it's not like, but it's polarizing ends of the scale. Like it's not. They're in the middle. It's sort of like our political climate now. You know, there's not a minor difference between people who win and lose. There's fucking massive difference.
Yeah.
Their whole outlook of how they see the world, their whole worldview, the actions they take, the life they live. And the funny thing is if you are one of these people who have lost over and over and over again, because there's a lot of people like that. You have to realize that the only reason that you've been losing is because you haven't been investing in yourself.
Right.
And I'm not saying you have to it's what you said, bro. You don't have to totally fucking redo your whole life in one day. But starting with things like, I don't know, like last night, my wife was out of town. I had to make some fucking food. I don't normally make my own food, you know, which means I don't normally clean up and shit.
Right.
Because I don't make the shit.
Yep.
And guess what? This morning when I woke up, there was some shit to clean up. And I cleaned it up. And you know what it did? I felt fucking good.
Yeah.
I said, oh, you know, I remember what this is like. And it made me, it sounds stupid, but like it's just doing the things that need to be done.
Well, that's the problem, right? We don't have to do this stuff anymore. And that's us. Scenario that some people may not be familiar with, but we definitely don't have to go out. For most people, we don't have to go out and hunt and chop firewood to make sure we stay alive. You know what I mean? So you have to find the opportunity.
We should.
Well, yeah, but you have to find the opportunities to make yourself disciplined.
No, you said it perfect on the show yesterday, bro. What did you say? You said it. Be on the lookout.
Yeah, be on the lookout for opportunities to exercise your discipline muscle, I guess, for lack of a better phrase.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
what's that look like?
I mean, it looks like you're walking around in public and you see a piece of garbage on the ground. Fucking reach down, pick it up.
All right, bro.
And do it in front of people
talk.
too.
Okay, so real talk, bro.
I mean, that's how it works here. That's how it works here.
Do you know what I do, bro?
Yeah.
Let me tell you something, dude. I got 400 people that work in this building. When I walk down the hall, I look for the tiniest speck of fucking dirt or dust or trash or fucking anything I could find, and I bend the fuck down. And bro, sometimes I bend over and I don't pick up shit. I just pretend I'm picking up shit. And you know why I pretend I'm picking up shit? Because there's 15 motherfuckers watching me.
Yeah.
Okay? And I know that they see that, and what the result of that is this. The next time they see shit, guess what they do? They pick it up.
Yeah.
Like, bro, this is very simple. Like, if you're walking through Six Flags or fucking, you know, you're at your grocery store and there's a candy wrapper on the floor and there's 7 people in the aisle and you pick it up, and if only one of them sees it, that is a positive impact for this country.
Yeah, now there's 2 of you.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
There was a lady at the airport Thursday when I flew in, wearing a mask, so you know kind of how she leans politically. Older lady, kind of heavy. She's sitting on the ground reading a book, and then it's time to stand in line to get on the plane, and she starts to get up, and I just reached down and helped her up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's more important to be like just to take it a step further in how you can actually impact people's lives. One of them is passively, where they see you doing shit. The other one is where, especially in spite of the differences you might have with that person, you still do the right thing.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So you see some fucking if you're a liberal and you see somebody wearing a MAGA hat, hold the door for them. You know what I mean? You've done nothing. You haven't hurt anybody by doing that, and it doesn't really cost you anything to do it either.
So, I used to have 2 American bulldogs, and American bulldogs are big. They're like the size of like a Rottweiler, and they can be a fucking handful if you don't know how to handle a dog.
Yeah.
Okay. And one of the things in American bulldog culture, and also with pit bulls and things like that, is they talk about being a good ambassador for the breed.
Yep.
All right. That means training your dog. It means socializing your dog. It means making sure that people who would have a propensity or an automatic bias against pit bulls or American bulldogs to actually be surprised at how well behaved your dog is.
Right.
What you're talking about is being a good ambassador of humanity.
Right.
Okay. When you, like a lot of you guys listening, like we could probably look at most of you guys listening and decide what you believe politically.
Yeah.
Okay. Most people can look at me and you, Dan, and say, okay, we probably guess what this guy's fucking about. Right.
Yeah.
When we go out of our way to help people like that are the opposite of what we believe, clearly, you're setting and you're making room for unity.
Right.
You're making room for healing. You're making, and I hate the fucking word healing, bro, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
You're making the room for it. I can't think of a more powerful thing to do than like what you did for that woman at the airport. Because
yeah, but it's nothing special.
No, it's nothing special.
That's just
but
like,
I guarantee you, bro, I promise you, she fucking said something about that to somebody. And she said, hey, I was at the airport. This dude who looked like he's fucking...
in a militia?
Yeah, like this dude helped me up. Like it restores people's belief in goodness.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's something that we all have to be very conscious of because of the division that's been, you know, poured onto us hard. You know, everybody out there, what we're going through, guys, in my opinion, has been an intentional demoralization of society, meaning they want to remove the morals, the moral code of society, but also a demoralization in the sense of there's no hope.
Yeah.
And they want you to feel alone. A lot of people right now, they feel fucking alone. They feel like nobody gets them. They feel like everybody's against them. Bro, the people on the right feel like, fuck, everybody hates me. People on the left feel like, fuck, everybody hates me. People in the middle are like, fuck, everybody's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, dude, that's intentional shit. They are intentionally creating that. And the reason they're intentionally creating that is because without unity, they get whatever they want.
It's divide and conquer.
Yes.
It's the oldest military strategy that exists.
But it's cultural division for the intent of profit on their part and power on their part. And until we get smart enough to understand that, you know what, I may not have a whole lot in common with that woman that's sitting on the floor over there with that mask on and her fucking honk for Joe Biden shirt or whatever the fuck, you know. But like, dude, she's a human. She's an American, and we got to fucking treat her right.
Yeah, this whole liberty thing, it only exists if it exists for everybody.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Otherwise, it's just another form of authoritarianism.
Yeah.
Maybe we have a bigger group of patricians, but I'm not comfortable with that. I'm not comfortable with watching other people suffer.
No, me neither, bro.
It sucks.
But we get sucked into it because of the extremity of the division. We kind of like, you know what? Fuck that person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We got to fucking resist that.
Well, you have to remove words like libtard from your fucking lexicon completely. Who you helping by saying that? I mean, it's funny to say it sometimes if somebody's being truly stupid, but if you're responding to somebody's like legitimate political beef with that, then fuck you, man. I got no time for that stuff.
No, bro.
But yeah, I think it's especially incumbent upon conservatives and libertarians to start doing more of this stuff in public and to stop, being baited into dumb incendiary arguments and being rude to people. But that's not enough. That's the stuff you're not doing. What are you actually doing? You know what I mean? Instead of doing the rude stuff, what are you doing? Because complacency is not going to work either.
No, that's a problem. Like getting back to that live and let live mentality. Because, dude, the far left of the political spectrum has become authoritarian. So they are going to encroach on your freedoms. So, like you saying, well, everybody can kind of do what they want. That's fine and dandy when you don't have communists living in your fucking country. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, we don't listen.
I listen to people who came from communist places to tell me about communism, not skinny white children in the Pacific Northwest.
That grew up.
What I mean?
That went to fucking,
Ivy
the best
schools and shit. Yeah.
Right. Like,
dude,
fuck
off.
Yeah, bro. I'm with you. And those are the only people buying that shit right now.
Yeah.
But dude, we have to get to a point where, we have to understand what the enemy is. The enemy is an ideology. The enemy is a communist ideology, socialist communist ideology that is the enemy of freedom, and it shouldn't be tolerated here in America. There's certain things we should tolerate. There's certain things we shouldn't. Yeah. We shouldn't tolerate pedophiles in America.
No.
Okay? There's no and like the more they try to normalize it, the closer I think they're getting to their own demise. That's the thing. It's like we can't be this place where everything's okay. It's not going to work that way.
Yeah, that's not a thing.
No.
Because under the guise of everything being acceptable, then accountability becomes unacceptable.
Right.
You know what I mean? And accountability are the white and yellow lines on the road. Without it, we have fucking chaos.
Yeah.
Like no society operates that way.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. It's not because it's necessary. Even though I do believe some of the tenets of it are ethically, unambiguously ethically wrong. It's not just because of that. It's because it doesn't fucking work. It can't work. So these perfect societies, whether it's socialism or to a greater degree communism or whatever the fuck, the reason that they always become authoritarian is because that's the only way to execute on that particular strategy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they have to force it.
Yeah, like there's no way to do it freely, and I'll take freedom and risk over communism and safety.
Well, we've seen it. Like they've tried to lie, they've tried to lie. Not enough people bought the lie. I'm not going to say nobody. A lot of people did, but not enough. And then what they have to do? They have to back up.
I mean, maybe they're just trying to see where the battle lines are, to be honest.
I think they are.
Yeah, that's possible. And they've got a lot of the upper hand with digitized finances. That's a big problem.
Huge problem.
We're gonna have to figure that out at some point, or we're just gonna have to live with the fallout of whatever happens. You know what I mean? It's gonna be one of the two, because a lot of people obeyed the mandates because they didn't want to lose their livelihood. Like that's leverage they have over you, and that can't be the case.
Yeah, I mean, but look at what's happening now. Look at the fucking lawsuits that are starting to pour out from all these employees that got fired or got, I mean.
Nobody's paid more. Nobody. I don't know why this isn't on the news. Well, I know it's not on the news. I don't know why it's not on like a meme about it or something on social media every single day. Nobody, no entity in the history of humanity has paid more in restitution than the American pharmaceutical industry, and it's not even close.
No, it's
like hundreds of billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars in fines and restitution to individuals.
Well, and why? Because they're able to make so much profit that the fine's worth it. That's a broken system.
Well, it's like that. It's Fight Club where he's on the plane telling that woman about he's an insurance adjuster or whatever the fuck for a car company, and they have a formula. If there's a faulty seatbelt and X number of people die, and it's cheaper to pay off those families than it is to recall the cars, then they pay off the families and let the fucking danger continue.
Yeah, that's fucking wrong.
It's not right.
No.
It's certainly not right. Well, this has been a good conversation, but we got to get out of here soon. What else you got to share? I want you to hit on what is it that people can do to be better citizens.
You know, dude, I've been saying this quote for a long time, and I believe it. I think it's the truth. You know, personal excellence is the ultimate rebellion. You know, we're waiting around for a leader to ride in on the white horse, and, you know, we have these fantasies of, you know, some of us have these fantasies of like, you know, trying to like be part of the new revolution, but the revolution now looks different. Yeah. The revolution is not us running to the government with ARs and kitted up, and I mean, it might get to that, but that's not what we need right now. And honestly, before that could ever happen, we would need what I'm about to say. We need people to give a fuck about themselves. We need people to understand that if you personally are not living to the standard that you think America should be lived at, you are not contributing to the problem. Yeah. Or you are contributing to the problem. I'm sorry. So we have to get to a point where everybody accepts enough personal responsibility and understands that their own personal excellence creates a ripple effect that your neighbors see, your kids see, your friends see. That's what's going to fix this country. Okay, a revolution of culture, a revolution of caring, a revolution of higher standards and healthier standards, a revolution of personal achievement. These are the things that have always made America the strongest place in the world. Yeah. And we have intentionally been led off that path for the benefit of other countries, for the benefit of people who are not part of us. It is definitely us, the people, versus them, the tyrants. That's what's happening. And the only way for us to get back what we actually want America to be is to live it. Is to live it. Okay, that means things like taking care of yourself. That means things like taking care of your business. That means things like taking care of your family. That means things like being openly patriotic.
Exercise your liberty muscle.
100%. Speaking up. Understanding that freedom only exists when we speak free thoughts. You know, these are things, you know, a lot of you guys don't understand that political correctness, this natural filter that they have put on society where it's like, oh, well, you can't say that because this will offend so-and-so. Well, fuck so-and-so. Because the point is that political correctness is designed to train you to not speak the truth so that they can get away with the shit they want to get away with. Same thing with silent majority. Silent majority. There's no fucking nobility in being silent about your patriotism. Yeah. That's bullshit. And you guys who buy into that and say, oh, well, I'm not going to speak up because I'm part of the silent majority, you're a fucking coward. That's the truth. Things like cancel culture, piling on to people when they make one little mistake because they didn't do something in their company or do something with themselves that you didn't approve of, or they made a mistake or they did something wrong, and you're fucking trying to bury them. Let me ask you something, dude. What does that do for all the people who are out there who aspire to do great things, who may have talents, who may be the one motherfucker that could change everything, but because they see how society treats people, they decide to fucking pack it in and just be a regular human. Like, we have to all be better about all of these things for America to come back. And, you know, that last thing I said is a huge thing, dude, because like I've been in the entrepreneurial space for over a decade, and I'm damn near the top, if not at the top of it. And I'm telling you right now, dude, the number one question I get from young people is like, bro, how do you deal with all the fucking hate? How do you deal with all the pressure? How do you deal with all the shit? Because, dude, 20 years ago, it didn't exist because social media didn't exist. Yeah. Like, you might hear from your homies, like in high school, they might be like, what are you doing? Like, blah, blah, but it's, you know, oh, you think you're better than us now? Like, stupid shit. But like nowadays, it's like you make one fucking statement or you say one thing that's off the fucking narrative, and they try to take your whole fucking life.
Yeah.
And you motherfuckers participate in it. And you wonder why there's no fucking people out there aspiring to be great. It's because of the way that we're behaving as adults. We have to be better.
Yeah.
That's what I think, bro.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Participate. The way in which you participate in society is what society will become.
100%.
That's just how it works, right?
And we're looking at it and saying, when are they going to say it's okay to be America again?
Yeah.
Bro, they're never saying that.
Yeah, who's gonna fix this?
We are.
Yeah, you are,
yes.
Motherfucker. That's if you don't take anything else from this conversation, take that. That you
living life to a high standard, bro, is American as fuck. It really is.
You'll either be the author of your own success or the author of your own failure. Yeah, ultimately,
100%.
And when I say your, I mean for the country as well.
Yeah. And bro, I'm not willing to be part of the generation. People like, I get this fucking shit all the time. How do you speak up with all the shit you have to lose? Motherfucker, if we lose, I'm losing all anyway.
Yeah.
You know, that's what you all don't get.
Yeah.
Like, our backs are against the wall at this point. And not only that, most people out there, I would say upwards of 85% from what I've been able to tell, and keep in mind, I've had thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of hours poured into this. I think 85% of the country is pro-American anyway. And we're getting to that point where people are like, holy fuck, this is crazy. And they're looking for the solution. Well, the solution is what we're saying. It's for you to fucking live the standard.
Yep.
We will never get America gifted back to us. When America was founded, they didn't give it to us, bro. We fucking took it.
Yeah.
We created it. And now we don't have to take it right now. We will take it. But the way that we're going to take it is by becoming so independently strong as an individual that we aren't dependent on their shit.
Right.
And none of their shit will work. And so if you don't want to have to fight a fucking war and shoot people in the fucking face, which, bro, I'm not trained to do, and I'd rather not do, to be completely honest, you're just going to have to start living a little better.
Yeah, which is, by the way, quite a bit easier than getting involved in a fucking
I'm just saying, man.
Civil war.
Like, look, I'm all about whatever, dude. Like, I know there's people out there that think that shit will probably be cool. That's the last thing I'd want to do.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, no, I'm not into that.
Yeah.
Like, I want to make money. I want to have a good life. I want to have fun. I want to make the world a better place. I mean, if I had to do that, I would, but it's not what I want to do. Yeah. And we have an easy solution right now. The easy solution is up our standards, be more conscious with where we spend our fucking money, spend it with pro-American brands, spend it with pro-freedom brands, and, inconvenience yourself a little bit with your habits. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck, dude, you don't have to order every motherfucking thing off Amazon. You don't have to fucking go to Walmart. Like, bro, start supporting these small mom and pop American-owned places. You know, even if my companies aren't that small, like, but we're American-owned and we're fucking pro-freedom. So, buy my shit. But, dude, for real though, like, even if it wasn't me, even like, it's the point.
Yeah. It's you got to live the life, man.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for doing the show today. I appreciate it, man.
Oh, no, bro. It's an honor, man. And I really appreciate what you're doing with this podcast. I think it's needed. It's going to be an exciting next few years. I think a lot of things are going to change, but I also think it's going our way.
Yeah.
So I think if you guys could just, let's all get together and start moving in the right direction.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for doing the show. Thank you all for watching. This has been Citizen.